the cloud. Welcome everybody to our August Fun Team Zoom event. And I'm asking everybody to stay muted until the end of our presentations, and then we'll open it up for questions, but the questions will not be recorded. So if you want to hear all that juicy, non-compliant information in the questions and testimonies, then you want to stay on until that's finished. Our next fun Zoom will be September 14th, and you want to invite anybody to it that you think would want to get the most out of their doTERRA, because we always give tips and tricks and some nice information that will make using the oils even more valuable to you. And today, Sandy, our women's health nurse practitioner, and Marie both had major conflicts. And so that opens us up to hearing from a very special guest. And Becky Nolan is an experienced registered nurse who developed her own intuitive health coaching business. And I will have her tell her very interesting story around that and mention a couple of oils as well. Okay, Becky, you can take it away.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. It's really nice to see you all on this Saturday morning, and as a very humid Saturday, as we were saying, but very nice. My name's Becky Nolan. I'm actually a friend of Marie Summers, so we know each other we live in the same town, and we've known each other for years. I am the owner of September Farm Wellness in Chester, New Hampshire. I'm a registered nurse that I've been practicing for 20 years. And through my nursing experience, I really started to develop a health coaching desire. So I really wanted to help people kind of outside the nursing field, especially the hospital setting. So I am now a registered health coach, and I teach my own intuitive health practice as part of my coaching. So my intuitive health practice was really born out of kind of the need from my experience in the hospital, where I was seeing that people were coming in very sick, and a lot of their illnesses were due to lifestyle instead of, like some disease processes started as like just poor lifestyle choices. So I was feeling really frustrated as a nurse in the hospital seeing this. And I really wanted to get to people earlier in their life and in their health journey to coach them and to educate them on, really listening to their bodies. I know in kind of our society, we aren't really taught how our body works, how we can really tune into it and tap into it. And it gives us a lot of information. I think that we really rely on, doctors and outside, like external information in order to guide our health, where we actually have a lot of power and control in using our own intuition and listening to what our body is telling us and giving that validation and really acting on that, and creating a lifestyle that really supports our overall health. And in turn, over the course of your life, you'll have more vitality and have, a better life experience. So my journey with this actually started about 12 years ago. I have chronic Lyme disease. So I have chronic neurologic Lyme disease. The Lyme bacteria really attacked my central nervous system. So my first 4 years, when I had the symptoms come on, all of a sudden, I didn't have any answers. I was looking externally for answers through doctors, through practitioners, and I wasn't getting any answers. As a matter of fact, they were telling me that it was like a summer virus, just go home and go to bed. They would say, like, maybe there's nothing wrong with you. We can't see anything in tests. We can't, see anything in scans. So I was really at a loss for those first 4 years. And really, instead of like tuning in with my body and, acknowledging that something was very wrong with me and giving my body what it needed, I really took the opposite approach. I really put a lot of weight on what the doctors were telling me, that there was nothing wrong. So instead of, kind of building a practice and building a lifestyle that supported my health, even though I didn't have a diagnosis and I didn't really know what was going on with me, I really kind of went the opposite way and just pushed and, you know, wasn't very kind to myself. I didn't give myself the rest that I needed. And as a result, 4 years into not having any answers or not having any clues about what was going on, my I finally found a doctor, and my symptoms were actually, instead of being subjective, they were starting to be observable. So a lot of my symptoms when I would go into the doctors were subjective. I would tell them I was tired. I was, you know, like I had pain. I would have trouble walking. I would have fevers, and they couldn't really see that. But there was one day that I woke up and I had bruises all over my legs. So I went to the doctor and they were like, yeah, there's something wrong with you. So they started to do more intensive tests. And eventually they found that I did have Lyme disease. So um, at that point, though, for the 4 years prior, I really didn't take care of my health. I didn't take care of like my health foundation. So when I started treatment, it actually, instead of making me better, it actually made me a lot worse because I went on strong antibiotics, and just the treatment really failed because my body wasn't strong enough. So, kind of looking back, and over that period, I really learned, some valuable lessons from that. That, if I had really focused on my general health and listened to my body and gave it what it needed and what it was asking me for, then when that treatment came, it probably would have been more successful. So over time, I was actually through this practice. So I very much tune into what my body's telling me. And I have some steps that I could teach you um, that helped me recover from Lyme disease. I've pushed it into remission. It's been 12 years and it's been a long road, but I was able to push it into remission. I'm able to live my life the way that I want to live. And even just as recently as about 3 years ago, I wasn't able to walk at all, and the doctors were telling me that I would never be able to walk again. And I said, "Nope, we're not doing that." So, and I walk. I'm very active, so I have really no negative symptoms anymore, and I really am able to live my life the way that I desire to. And now, through my health coaching practice, I am teaching other people to do the same thing. And you don't necessarily need to have a chronic illness to use this approach. It's really, you know, just enhancing your lifestyle and your health choices and building a healthy foundation so that you can live your life the way that you want, with the energy that you want, with vitality. And if something happens where you have something that impacts your health, then at least you have that foundation to build off of, instead of having it go the other way and having your foundation be crushed like I had when I had Lyme disease. So, so my health practice really focuses on, it's very it's very simple, but sometimes it's not, the simple things aren't necessarily easy to do because it is every day implementing certain things, and asking yourself questions about the actions that you take on a daily basis, if it's going to um, benefit your health, or is it going to be detriment, like a deterrent from your health. So when I teach this practice as well, I teach about building a health foundation, and that health foundation has 4 pillars. So those 4 pillars are sleep, rest, exercise, and nutrition. And so those are the 4 areas that, when you are looking at your day-to-day health practice, that you can see where you're doing well, where you could have some improvement. For me, when I was very early in my Lyme disease journey, I was working full time as a nurse, but I was working nights. So I was working the 12-hour overnights. which is the worst thing you can do if you have Lyme disease, because Lyme disease throws off your circadian rhythm, and like you can't recover the way that someone who doesn't have a chronic illness can. Like it's hard on your body when you're doing the night shifts anyways, but to add a chronic illness on top of it, it's just too much. So for my sleep, I really, decided that, this isn't working for me. How can I make my sleep better so that it will support my health instead of going the other way and deterring from it? And then the rest pillar, which, sleep and rest kind of go hand in hand, but the difference between sleep and rest that I teach is that rest is anything that reduces your stress level. So it's usually while you're waking, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like sitting on the couch and being inactive, because sometimes that is worse than, doing something that's restful. So when I rest, I am usually in motion. So I usually walk. Like that's anything that you can use in order to reduce your stress level is a great, asset for your rest pillar and to build up your health. So I'll go out and walk, I'll go meditate, I might journal, and that will build up that part of your health foundation. So when you do have something happen, you have that to lean back on. And I actually just yesterday finished a class on stress and cortisol. So, and that ties very, very heavily into that pillar, where if your cortisol level is high constantly, then that can have impacts your health overall in so many different ways. Cortisol can really impact all of the systems in your body and cause diseases if it's left unchecked. So, and then exercise, which can be, just moving your body. And it's good to exercise every day and throughout my Lyme journey as well, there were periods of time where I didn't have the energy to exercise, but I always made sure that I did something to keep my body moving, just to keep myself strong and to keep myself from getting too stiff. And it's just, that really helps. That pillar really helps as far as, your vitality too, and being able to do your everyday tasks. And then nutrition is a big one as well. And that one is kind of like the bigger pillar, because that's where we kind of interact with our environment. We're actually taking in nutrition from our outside and bringing it inside our body. And then our body is using that as an energy source and kind of like the store of, if you need to heal or need to do anything, it's pulling stuff from outside. So we have a lot of choices as far as what we bring into our body and, what we eat, what we drink, how much we do. And so there's a lot of variation in that. And I think that because most of us, I think all of us live in the United States, that we are taught about like the standard American diet, which is not a great way to eat. So it's, and I teach a lot about that and variations of how you can, kind of navigate grocery stores or restaurants, or, there's so much food, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you should be eating it. So I teach a lot about that as well. But throughout my journey as well, I've really utilized a lot of doTERRA and essential oils in order to go through my journey and my healing. I use a lot of the doTERRA products that Roxanne and I were talking about before, that I have a lot of trouble with fragrances, like especially like synthetic anything. So any like air fresheners, or I was talking about how my husband loves the Christmas trees that are in the car that you use for like a freshener, air fresheners. And I was noticing that every time I was going into his car and driving with him, that I would feel really, really sick. I would have a headache and I'd have to lay down like I had no energy after I would get out of the car with him. And I finally discovered that it was because of the Christmas tree air fresheners, that I was having a very bad reaction to those. And because I have Lyme disease actually, when the bacteria breaks down, it releases endotoxins. So my body is very, very high in toxins just from that. So if I experience any environmental toxins on top of that, or any synthetic fragrances or anything like that, it can really make me feel sick. So I've relied heavily on doTERRA products for cleaning and for using, oils for air fresheners, and using a lot of the products for like personal care, like shampoos and toothpaste and all that. So that's really been very helpful in my health journey, and incorporating that as well. And like I said, I just did a class on cortisol, and this month is I guess Adaptiv Touch, which is a stress roller. I think Roxanne might have that. Yep. So the Adaptiv, and that is great for reducing stress. It has essential oils that will kind of calm your nervous system so that you can go into that restful or relaxation state. And that is a really good thing to do to reduce your cortisol, to reduce your stress, get into that, go from that sympathetic nervous system activation where you're, on hypervigilant and on alert and not being able to calm down. That's just another tool in your toolkit to be able to switch from a sympathetic nervous system response to a parasympathetic, where you're resting and digesting and healing. And that's where a lot of the good health stuff happens, when you're in that parasympathetic nervous system activation. And so I do have my wellness practice. I actually teach a lot of classes. I have an app online, so it's on School, which I use for the platform. But I have a community there that that you can join. It is $9 a month for the community, and then I do a coffee hour every Tuesday morning. So I have people join me there to ask questions, and we get to chat about all things intuitive health. And if for some reason nobody's there, I always have something that I will talk about, and then I post it on the community for people to watch. And then I also have that is the platform where I hold classes. So like I said, I just did a class on stress and cortisol that I posted yesterday. And if you are a member on that platform, then you get discounted prices for any class that I have. So I have the cortisol class. I'm going to be doing an intuitive boot camp starting next week. I'll be doing a sugar challenge, so reducing sugar. And then I'm also going to be doing a class on antioxidants and what they are and how they're important in your overall health. So if anyone is interested in more information, I can definitely get that to you. But that is what I'm doing. And I guess we can open it up to any questions if anyone has questions about what I just talked about, or anything to add.
Becky, what is your, how do people get to this school thing?
So I have a link. If anyone wants to send me send an email to me, I can send them the link. And my email is septemberfarmnh@gmail.com. And then it's just a link that you can click and just sign up, and it's month to month. You get there's no long-term commitment or anything like that. So as long as you're enjoying the app, then you can continue with that. And then any classes that you'd like to purchase are just, on there for you to look at as well.
Okay, the email again, Joanne, is September Farm NH, like New Hampshire,
Yep.
@gmail.com.
Mhm.
September Farm @gmail.
And then the community part of that app too is really a community. So, it's not really just me talking, it's really meant for people to contribute and to share what they're doing in their intuitive health practice. If they have questions, if they find things that might be useful for the group. So that's really my drive for that, is that it really is a community-based practice. So.
And Becky, do you have anything on Facebook that we should be checking out or not?
Not necessarily. Well, I do have Facebook. I'm on Instagram more often,
Okay.
and that is at September Farm NH. So, and I do
Oh.
post on there quite frequently. I've been off for a little bit, but I'm getting right back into that with my classes and promoting
I
my
will start
pharmacy.
following you.
Thank you.
Yes. Does anybody have anything to add right now to what Becky said? Or questions for Becky? You can unmute if you've got any questions or testimony about your own health that may be similar or whatever.
I'd just like to say that your story is pretty inspirational, to hang in there all that time and to work through it and come up with, I mean, basically your own life improvements, and then being able to share it with everybody. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for saying that. It's definitely not an easy journey at times, but looking back on it now, it was definitely something that since I was able to get through, it's really been, quite the journey. But being on the other side of it now, I've learned so many lessons, and I'm so grateful that I can actually teach this to other people now. So thank you for saying that. I appreciate it.
It's really great that you got a gift from having Lyme.
Mhm.
You got the gift to learn more about your own health and to help others. I think that's so beautiful when that happens, when
Yeah.
you don't give up. And when people give up, they lose that opportunity to do anything good when they give up. So my hat's off to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Joanne Anderson is saying to everybody, I can identify a lot with your story. So thank you,
glad.
Joanne. Okay, thank you, Becky. And I'm going to continue on right now. So if everybody can mute, that would be wonderful. And just to tie in with Becky's part of the presentation today, the Thinker is the kids' version of Adaptiv. And it is, well, it's kind of like, it's not exactly, but it's similar. But for kids, again, who are sensitive to smells, or for anybody who doesn't like any strong, powerful smells, Thinker would work beautifully for them. This is diluted already by doTERRA, so it works perfectly even on brand new infants. It's good for even the elderly with their very sensitive skin that can bruise so easily or tear easily and so forth. So that Thinker is another option for people who want to do something, have a tool to help them to stay calm. So actually, dovetailing with what Becky said, I just wanted to reinforce what foundational wellness is. And she and I really didn't talk a whole lot about her presentation. So it's just amazing that this is what we end up with. Foundational wellness is the total of our actions for how we feel. We are either getting enough of the right stuff or too much of the wrong stuff. That's really what our health boils down to. One or of two things. And examples might include taking in enough foods, whole foods, or supplements to satisfy our needs for fiber, folate, zinc, selenium, and omegas, and other things for our bodies to make enough energy, hormones, enzymes, and remain in homeostasis or balance in our organs and functions. Conversely, we might be sitting too long, not getting to bed early enough, burying our difficult emotions, or ignoring clues that we need to do things differently. And that sometimes is hard for people to get that message loud and clear. It's time to do something different. We kind of get stuck in how we're feeling. And for most of us, it takes a while. We've got to feel that bottom. We got to bottom out and feel bad before we can start to feel good again. But Becky and I are here to encourage everybody. So you're going to make sure, in terms of your own foundational wellness, you can reach out to Becky, to Marie, to Sandy, or myself anytime you want to figure out what might be your specific situation in terms of ideas or suggestions that might help. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about a new oil, and I didn't check the doTERRA website this morning, but this new oil is a limited time offer oil. It's a blend called Vanilla Chai. Now, it sounds so good, right? Like we'd want to drink this, like people drink their coffee or their tea with vanilla chai. And the thing is, this is not for ingestion. So I just want to warn you up front. It's not for ingestion. It's for topical and aromatic use only. So vanilla chai is a limited time offer. In fact, it was 75% sold out last night. So if anybody wants it, you want to get in on the website today in your own account, remember, in your own account, and place that order. And remember, like Becky said, the Adaptiv Touch is our free product of the month. And you only get one free product of each month, by the way. So putting in multiple orders of 125 PV in order to qualify won't help us. We're only allowed one per month per account. But the vanilla chai is just a limited time offer oil. And it brings the comforting embrace of a creamy vanilla chai at your favorite cafe. That's kind of what it's trying to evoke, that kind of a memory. doTERRA brings that soothing warmth into your home with vanilla chai spice blend. And it does cost $32 wholesale. It's 32 PV. Remember what PV represents. PV is our global, can children use Adaptiv safely? Children can use Adaptiv safely, absolutely. Yeah, especially that touch. Any of our touch rollers are perfectly safe for any age person, most any situation. Okay, unless people had certain severe health concerns, they might want to check with the pharmacist and see if that might interfere with whatever they're taking medically. But pretty much the touch rollers are going to be safe for just about anybody. So we can transform our favorite space into a sanctuary of autumn-inspired bliss with this incredible essential oil blend, featuring the certified pure therapeutic grade oils of cedarwood, sciamwood, vanilla, clove, Peru balsam, ginger, and benzoin. And I'm not familiar with benzoin at all, but it's got to be an oil. Cedarwood helps low GABA and dopamine levels. So GABA is like the brakes to our brain, or the brakes to that sympathetic system that's always driving us to fight or flight. And when we are under stress, whether it is a small amount of stress repeatedly, or just a collection of a lot of little tiny stresses, even good stresses, doesn't matter. The body and the mind don't understand the difference between good and bad stress. The body just reacts and sends out more cortisol, which then gets our muscles ready to act like we're going to run away from that tiger, or fight the tiger, or freeze from the tiger. And so the GABA gets worn out, gets depleted when we are under too much stress. So those Olympians must be doing something right now because they're under a lot of stress. And of course, dopamine is what we get quite often from good things that happen to us. Unfortunately, dopamine gets released too often when we do things like get on our phones and start scrolling through Facebook or Instagram, and we get lost in that. That dopamine hit is what drives us to go back and keep repeating it. However, too much of that will get us into trouble. So cedarwood also helps with our focus, anxiousness, inflammation, respiratory system, our skin, retaining fluids, and repelling bugs. So I'm talking about cedarwood because it's a part of this blend. And whenever you have a blend, you're getting benefits from each of those oils. So if you're ever wondering, what does an oil do? You can look up the individual components on your favorite essential oil app. My favorite one is called the Essential Life. You pay a yearly fee of like, I think it's $14.99, and it keeps updating all throughout the year with new oils and things that are coming out and new information. Or you could use a book, but books can cost a lot of money, and the minute they're published, they're already out of date. So that's why I actually like the app better. It's very convenient on my phone. I can pull it out of my pocket at any time when somebody stops me and says, Roxanne, what do I do for this problem? What do I do for that problem? Because they have a lot of solutions, recipes, and ideas. Vanilla, which is in this vanilla chai, adds an invigorating perfume. It soothes and relaxes us physically and mentally. It helps our sleep, helps our libido, helps erectile difficulties, sadness, and really promotes normal, healthy cell growth. I can't say the word because right now we have to be compliant on this recorded video, but think of the worst thing you don't want to have. Okay, so it's going to help that normal, healthy cell growth. Clove aids memory, respiration and circulation, tooth issues, thyroid, metabolism, nicotine dependency, skin and inflammation. Ginger is helpful for decongesting, for motion problems, like in any vehicle, like for my own personal history, queasiness, cramps, morning sickness, digestion, blood sugar imbalances, low sex drive, dependency of different types of things that people can become dependent on, whether it's gambling or sex or Facebook or whatever, gaming, respirations, and circulation. Emotionally, it will support belonging and social connection, joy, optimism, calm, intimacy, clear boundaries, courage, independence, and integrity. That goes for the whole of the blend. So diffuse that away. In fact, in my class yesterday where I had Janice, that's what was diffusing in my house yesterday, was that vanilla chai. I forgot to mention that to the group. Then we've got Harvest Spice, which is another limited time oil. So limited time means it's probably not going to be available after this month. So if you want Harvest Spice, you want to get in there and stick it on your order for this month. But again, I'm not always exactly sure with limited time offers. Sometimes they'll let them continue on until sold out into the next month, and other times they don't. So it depends on the mood of the marketers at doTERRA, I guess. But it is $28.50 wholesale, as well as the PV. And remember, our PV isn't always equal to our dollar cost of an item. I know, like the Lifelong Vitality Pack, our vitamin pack, I think it's $85 now, but it's a PV of like 60 or 70. And the reason for that is because some of the components need to be manufactured away from doTERRA, and that's just the way that they keep our costs down, as well as doing the best thing they can for us to get our reward benefits too. So Harvest Spice is a proprietary blend, which means nobody else in the world produces this blend. That's what proprietary means. proprietary blend of cinnamon, clove, eucalyptus, cedarwood, cassia, and nutmeg essential oils. Sounds like we're gonna have cookies, right? It's got powerful cleaning properties. It creates a stress-free atmosphere, encourages an environment of balance, wellness, and relaxation, creates a sense of calm, and provides a relaxing, soothing effect when inhaled. Emotionally, Harvest Spice helps people feel more connected to the people they want to connect to, more centered, more present, more grateful, and more generous. Both oils, I mentioned before, I think, are topical and aromatic use only. And you know what? Even the Harvest Spice blend, if you are caught in a situation where you need to clean your hands, I would put a couple drops of the Harvest Spice and rub my hands together. Use it almost like a hand sanitizer if you're in a pinch, okay? And for a DIY, you could easily take one of, and I don't have one right in front of me to show you, but it's a little spray bottle about this tall. And the spray bottles that they sell, like the Terra Shield in, the On Guard, hand sanitizer spray is sold in it. And occasionally they'll have some other spray bottles, but you could take that bottle, which they do sell under accessories at the website under your page. You can get, I think, 3 empty one of those bottles to make whatever you want with it. And so, or you can repurpose, and I always tell people, save your bottles. Don't throw them away and don't recycle them. Rather save them and repurpose them and just put a label on it, because you want to know what's in the bottle. Your memory will never remember. A month from now, 2 years from now, I've had people show me bottles and say, can you tell me what's inside? I can't do it. I can't do it. It's impossible. So you got to label your bottles and label before you start making up your blend in your bottle. That way you don't have oil and water and stuff happening to take the label off or smudge it. But you could take one of those little spray bottles, put 15 drops of either oil, Harvest Spice or the vanilla chai. And you might, if you have witch hazel, you can put a tablespoon maybe of witch hazel in there. That will just help emulsify it to make the oil and water, which normally don't mix, to mix better. Okay, another emulsifier I use for my salad dressings is Dijon mustard, but you don't want to put Dijon mustard in this because this is more for a like a room spray, or even you can put it on your hair too. Your hair can be a diffuser, by the way. I put oils in my hair all the time and it doesn't ruin my hair. And doesn't make it oily. And then you would, after your little bit of witch hazel, then you would top off the bottle right to the shoulder of the bottle, which is right where the cap finishes off, screwing on. That's what I call the shoulder of the bottle. You fill that with water. Or you might want to put water in it first, because sometimes they're hard to see and you might overfill it and lose your oil. So put your water in first. I'm going to change my directions right now. I just realized that. Put your water in first, then leaving a little tiny bit of room at the top for your oils to add. And that way you don't lose any of your oils if you overflow it. Then you're going to put your spray top on, shake it up good. And then you've got a spray that you can use for a variety of reasons, to make your bedroom smell better, to spray your pillows maybe, or whatever you want. Spray the inside of your car vehicle, if you got cloth seats, and you want to deodorize your car. Those are all some ideas you could use. But that Harvest Spice to me tastes like something that just came out of the oven. It smells like that. It smells like that. It doesn't taste like that, but it smells like something that just came out of the oven that you baked. It's really good. So I need to tell you something else that some of you might not be aware of. And you can share this with your friends who are curious about doTERRA, or who ask you questions about your doTERRA if they want to know You know, isn't it kind of expensive? You can then tell them there are ways to save money with doTERRA. And one is for anybody who wants to start their own wholesale account. They have changed things up a little bit, which I think is a nice change. When they enroll, there's a spot on the shopping bag that'll say order monthly, and you check that box off. If you think you might want to order anything monthly, check off whatever you'd like. It will turn that whole enrollment order into an LRP order instantly for you. This is brand new, and for us oldies, we wish this had happened when we enrolled, right? Right, Joanne and Pat, and Joyce. But this is a nice addition to doTERRA's offerings. And so what it does is it gets them started with their 10% rewards right with that order, going into their little doTERRA bank that later on they will use to pay for products. Now, the second exciting thing is, especially where it's only the 10th of the month, we've got until the 15th to qualify for the free product of the month, which happens every month when we put in an order of 125 PV or more by the 15th. That's all we have to do. We don't have to even identify the free product. They just stick it in our box. And if you look in your order, as you're filling it out, as you're making up what you want to get for this month, you can scroll to the bottom, because if it looks like it's going to ship anyway before the 15th or by the 15th, it will show that it's added that free product right in there for you. So you'll be double checking that you're getting it. But it will show for sure if you process now by the 15th. So anybody who has a ship date after the 15th, you can always take advantage of the free product by going in, adjusting your order, what you want to purchase that month, and just going to checkout then and process now, and you will see that the free product is added on. And this free product, Adaptiv, is $27 wholesale. So it's a good chunk of change. This is a definite freebie that's worth getting, okay? Not only for what it does for us, but just saving that amount of money. To me, that's a nice size coupon if you're a coupon cutter. So you can stack your freebies. What I'm saying is you can stack your freebies. People who are enrolling can stack their freebies. What that means is when they are ordering for the very first time on your refer a friend link, and you want to share that with them, refer a friend link will get them a year of free wholesale pricing, no matter how small the order is. It used to be you had to order a kit, or you used to have to order 100 PV. You don't have to do that anymore. Any size order will get them a free year of wholesale pricing. And so that's one benefit. A second benefit is if their order totals 100 PV, they get free shipping. The third benefit is if their order totals 150 PV, they can choose between a free diffuser, the Pebble diffuser, or they can get a free citrus bloom foaming hand wash and dispenser, or they can get the two big toothpastes of On Guard toothpaste and Supermint toothpaste that will pop up on the screen as they're enrolling, or as you're helping them enroll, if you need to help them enroll. But if you give them your link and they're following all the steps for enrolling or getting their own account, this should all come up, one thing after the other, okay? So that is good when we can stack all those freebies. I love it. I love stacking freebies for people, because then it empowers people more, because if they weren't getting a diffuser as part of their order to start, now they've got a diffuser. Boom, we put aromatic use right into their hands. Also, I want you to think about, there is an LRP bonus gift every month, and this has happened now 2 or 3 times. Our upline, Allison Van Zambergen, who's, I'm not sure where you are in the organization, but she's above us. And she is what they call a diamond in doTERRA, which is a high rank. And so what she's doing every month is giving this bonus to anyone in our organization, in her organization, and we're part of her organization, of a special presentation, a free presentation by somebody teaching something we're not going to get anywhere else. And this August 27th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and she does mail out the replays, by the way, emails them out. This month will be Dr. Vaughn Watts, who is a big, big deal with doTERRA. And he will be speaking to us privately in this private Zoom. And the only way you can be part of that is if you have a 125 PV or better this month, by the 15th of the month. And she will notify you in your email. So if you're a person who doesn't look at your emails, you might miss out on this opportunity. So look at those emails, okay? And remember that our next Fun Zoom is September 14th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I want to now check the chat and make sure I've covered everything. I have. All right, so there's nothing left in the chat. I'm going to stop the recording right now. If I can find where I stop it.